Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you a Rogue Mage Sorcerer multi-class build guide for Baldur's Gate 3. So this was a request, and I've worked on a few different Rogue multi-classes with the Wizard, Warlock, and the Sorcerer. Now what's nice about the Sorcerer is you can take the Rogue Thief and get an extra bonus action, which we can use to quicken spells. So that means we can drop 3 fireballs in 1 turn, which is pretty crazy. So we're going to be taking the Sorcerer to start here. I actually have a very interesting build that takes a lot of different things into consideration, so I'll be going through that all in this video. As for the starting cantrips, it's always good to do with a good old Ray of Frost and Shocking Grasp. Minor Illusion's a nice one to take as well. And for the purpose of this, we're going to take Firebolt. I normally don't take Firebolt, but it's not a bad one to take here, so we're going to go with that. Alternatively, you can also take Mage Hand. As for our cantrips at level 1, I think it's best to go with like Magic Missile gives us guaranteed damage at level 1, which is really nice, and then Shield gives us a +5 to armor class, so survivability, really nice. Storm Sorcerer is a consideration. You can go with this if you prefer to get the bonus action Fly. Since we're going to have 2 bonus actions, this can be nice because this doesn't proc the opportunity attacks. But I actually think that the Draconic Bloodline is going to be the best choice here because we can get ourselves a nice boost. So we can sneak attack with our spells that have attack rolls, and I'll show you that in this video. So with this, we get our armor class up to 13, so a nice +3 armor class and an additional 1 health point per sorcerer level, which is awesome. Now, actually, in this build, I'm going to take the red Draconic Sorcerer, so this will give us more fire damage later on, and I'll show you why that's important. But you can go with either the Disguise Self or the Flaming Hands, Burning Hands version. Either of these is going to give us a boost to our fire damage, or even the one with Sleep there, so I'm going to take this one here. And we're just going to whatever you want for that there. As for our ability score, we do focus on Dex, Constitution, and Charisma mainly, so we'll take that down. Having a high Dexterity gives us more armor class, so it's ideal that we can get that up to like a 16 ideally. Our Constitution around 14, and then Intelligence and Strength, Wisdom all around there. Also, if you want, you can take the Charisma down to like 16. If you have the Hags here, you can take that up to 18, but if not, having a little bit higher wisdom is good to succeed because there's a lot of wisdom saving throws in this game. Now, I'll be going through the gear at the end of this video as there's a few different ways we can go about doing this, but what's nice is we can get sneak attacks on our attacks, and we actually may get Eldritch Blast here. I'll go over that in this video. So as for our next leveled spell, I think Chromatic Orb is a solid one because this just gives us a consistent choice of damage. There's some situations where this will be very nice to have. Witch Bolt is another one that can get us an attack roll, so that's another choice if you want to take it, but I think Chromatic Orb is just nice to have. As for our Meta Magic Distance spell to get increased distance of 50% is nice, and then Twin Spell is just broken, so we're going to take Twin Spell because Twinned Haste, probably one of the best things in this entire game, so we want that. Now for our level 3 spell, I think at level 2 it's actually best to go with Hold Person or Scorching Ray. Scorching Ray is going to be our main source of damage, and we can actually get a nice boost to it from Hold Person, so both of these are very good to take. As for our Meta Magic Quickened spell, spells that cast an action cost a bonus action instead. That's our bread and butter of this build since we're going to be getting an extra bonus action, so it's quite nice. Now, level 4, we get ourselves another cantrip, so we can go with Friends if you're the face of the party, Mage Hand otherwise, and Bone Chill's another nice one to stop a target from healing. And we're going to take Hold Person. Misty Step's another nice one, but Hold Person will give you critical hits on attacks, so it can be good for the whole team, but also for yourself. So, as for our first feat, now we can go with Ability Improvement to take our ability score up, but we can actually also go with the Magic Initiative, which gives us 2 more cantrips, which we're going to obviously be taking Eldritch Blast, and then Bone Chill potentially. And as for our cantrip, Hex. So what this does is we can do Sneak Attack, Eldritch Blast, and Hex all together, all at once. We're not going to go with this at this level, but maybe later down the road we'll go with that. We'll take our Charisma up first, because we're going to add more damage to our attacks with this, so it can be really effective. As for the spells at level 5, this is where things come together for this build. We're going to take Fireball. The reason being, Fireball will let us deal additional damage next level. Actually, we can take Haste and take Fireball next level, because Haste we can twin to ourselves and one other target, and that gives us some incredible amounts of damage. So, at level 6 Sorcerer, this is where things come together, because we get ourselves the Elemental Affinity damage. When you cast spells that deal damage with type associated to your Draconic ancestry, you add your Charisma modifier to the damage. So we get a nice +4. With the hat that I got, it's a +5. And then we also gain resistance if we use our sorcery points. So that's pretty good too. Now here we're going to take Fireball because we're going to get additional damage to that. Lightning Bolt is one that I really like too, but since we're going more of a fire-focused build because Scorch and Ray just work so well in this, we may as well take all fire spells. Now at next level, we can go with something like Wall of Fire. This is actually like a crowd control spell, believe it or not, because it draws a line of fire and people will have to run through and take damage. So really nice. Also, Confusion's another good option that we can go with too, but we're going to go with that there. And then at next level, we'll take our Confusion. Because the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, we can attack and then cast this as a bonus action, not use our sorcery points. So lots of versatility here. We can also take Greater Invisibility because this will allow us to turn ourselves invisible. And on top of that, we can also cast this as a bonus action too, because the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel will allow that. So we got two really good options there. Lightning Bolt if you want a little extra damage, but I would recommend going with Greater Invisibility. It just gives you advantage on attacks, which is really, really nice. And Confusion gives you crowd control. So pick one of these which you find more effective. I'm going to go with Greater Invisibility because it just pairs really well with this. And for a mage rogue, I think that just makes a lot of sense. And now for our ability improvement. We can take an ability improvement and take our charisma up, but I do think that it's actually better to go with adding in the magic initiative, and this gives us the ability to cast this with charisma, so that's another nice benefit of it. So we learn 2 cantrips, Eldritch Blast, huge, and then Bone Shell's nice to have too. And then for our spell, Hex is great because we can hex someone, sneak attack, and attack them with this, and that does a ton of damage. So we want that. Now, not often do I ever do this, but I think it works well for this build. And at level 9, this is where everything all comes together for us. So we can take something like Cone of Cold. I think that like works out one of the best options for our spells because that hits in a huge area. Hold Monster is another one, so if you do want, you can swap out and take something here off. Like, if you're not using Chromatic Orb, we can take Chromatic Orb off and then take ourselves, like, Hold Monster. So that is an option if you want to go with something like that. I'm just going to leave Chromatic Orb on just because, but you can go that route. Now, at level 10, it would be nice to continue on the Sorcerer. I love Sorcerer, but Rogue is where we're going. So this gives us our sneak attack, deal extra damage to a foe we have an advantage on. As for our skills, Sleight of Hand is good, but Stealth is better because we're going to be using invisibility. We want to have as much stealth as possible. As for the second one, Persuasion's good because it helps a lot in dialogue. So Persuasion or Intimidation, whichever you prefer. Intimidation's more so for an evil playthrough. Now we get our extra bonus action, dashes and disengage and hide, which is nice. But finally, this is what we all came here together for, is that extra bonus action. So this will give us an extra bonus action. Some people like adding in the Assassin, which is a decent choice. Gives advantage on attack rolls that creatures haven't taken a turn yet, which is great at the start of combat. The Assassin does good burst damage, but the Thief is consistent because we get that extra bonus action. And a Sorcerer can cast a spell or crowd control with that. So, very, very nice. I did think about going with a Warlock, but I wanted to do more of a Mage build because that was what was requested here. So, our usual way of going about things, I guess we'll go over to the gear first. So, we have a solid 23 armor class. Now, we do need a ranged weapon in order to be able to sneak attack with our spells. So, do equip some type of crossbow. Now, I'm also using the Birthright Hat, which gives us +2 to Charisma, so that's nice, because that'll take our Charisma up to 20. So we can go with that just to give it increased damage to our attacks. 23 armor class from the Ring, Boots, and Cape. I have the Wave Mother's Robe on, which gives us resistance to fire and cold damage, which is not huge. But we can go with something like the Vestus Soul Rejuvenation will give you a +2 to armor class, so that can be a nice little addition. Or the Armor of the Weave, the Robe of the Weave, I forget where it is. Potent Robe is another great choice because the cantrips deal additional damage equal to our Charisma modifier, so that boosts our Eldritch Blast even further. I'm using the Band of the Mystic Scoundrel, so if we make a weapon attack, we can cast illusion or enchantment spells as a bonus action. So without using our sorcery points, we got multiple actions for our bonus action. As for the weapon on the main hand, I think the Crimson Mischief works really well. So this weapon deals an additional 1 to 4 piercing damage with targets with lower health. And when you make an attack with advantage, the target takes an additional 7 piercing damage. So that can work really well in this build. And it just straight up will give you 7 more damage. And if you have someone with the Ballast Armor nearby, that turns to 14 extra damage. So we're doing a lot of extra damage. I guess we don't have sword proficiency. That's my bad. We should take actually the Blade of the First Blood then, since that is a finesse weapon. So yeah, a little misstep there, but we do need hand crossbow proficiency, which you can get from your race. So I'm playing as a drow, which gives us that. Now, as for our way of doing combat, we want to have one, having greater invisibility up gives us the advantage on attacks just naturally, so that can be really nice. We can cast that on ourselves, and then if you ever lose your greater invisibility in combat, you can get it back from whenever we use our Band of the Missing Scoundrel. So we can cunning action hide, and then we can sneak up, and then we can do our sneak attacks. So that gives us that option there to do a sneak attack, greater invisibility, critical hit. Literally took out half of his health right there. Now, another thing is you can do Hex. Doesn't really matter. Hexing Wisdom's typically the best choice. That gives an increased chance of staying stealth. So you can Hex someone, and then while you're in your stealth, so we can hide there. I guess I didn't do a very good hiding. We'll greater invisibility ourselves again. We're going to go into our hide, and then we're going to use our Eldritch Blast. So that does a ton of damage because they're all going to be critical hits. So yeah, that is great damage, and we can just continue to spam that because we can get extra damage off on our ranged attacks, but also we can get extra damage on our Scorching Ray too, so that's another nice option. So we can stealth and do some Scorching Ray shenanigans. You can even upcast Scorching Ray for extra damage. So as you can see there, we're able to take people down relatively easy. And that is the nicest thing about that. We also got our Cone of Cold for just like, this is our blasting attack. So if we need something that's just going to hit in a large area, we have Fireball and Scorching Ray, or Fireball and Cone of Cold. But as you can see, we can do a ton of damage with just a few different spells. I can't show you Hold Person there, unfortunately, but yeah, Scorching Ray has an attack roll, which gives us the sneak attack, which is nice. So you can go with something like that. We also got the crossbows, so you got many different options there. It's funny that no one's really upset that I'm attacking like this, but yeah, the nice part about Scorching Ray is we can just yeet people away with it. It's got lots of power, and if not, we also got the Eldritch Blast for another option. I'm also using the Helldust gloves, which will give us increased damage, but the Daredevil gloves are a bit of a better option because we can use our Daredevil proximity. It won't let me trigger it now, but this lets us make our ranged weapon attacks as melee attacks. So Eldritch Blast will get a benefit from that. Oh, I accidentally started to fly there. But yeah, sneak attacks are really big here because we can turn ourselves invisible as a bonus action. And we also have our twin spell, so we can twin haste to ourselves. We can use Scorching Ray for a great source of damage. We have greater invisibility, minor illusion to kind of group people together. And yeah, this build is quite powerful because we got so many different options for damage, and we can bonus action attack. So lots of variability there, but even just a Eldritch Blast is very powerful because you can see we're hitting lots of critical hits there, and it's doing a ton of damage. So that's the nice part about the Eldritch Blast, is we got that as our kind of backup damage option there. So yeah, very powerful, very, very powerful. 3 spells per turn. The Rogue Thief, or the Rogue Thief Mage Sorcerer build in Baldur's Gate 3, very powerful. If you found this video useful, please hit that subscribe button below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.